We're so thankful you can take a few minutes of your day. I know you've been busy. You've been going on the radio tour, so we're glad you get to spend some time and helping us walk through this again new chapter of Utah State football.
Sure thing. Our pleasure.
So just wanted to maybe walk us through the process of what you were looking for in a head coach, and just how Bronco Mendenhall ended up being the fit where you decided to offer an unprecedented amount of money for a Utah State football head coach.
Yeah, I think if you break it down, I'm first really thankful for Nate Dreiling and his staff and what they were able to achieve. I know it isn't the success markers that maybe everyone wants with Utah State football, but I am really grateful for everything that they were able to accomplish this year and how hard our young men came back and participated each and every contest. When you look at the Utah State football program, from my perspective, really wanted to focus in on three things, and that's a comprehensive structure of belief and investment in our student athletes, and making sure our academics are a priority again, and rising our academic standard, and then being good citizens in the community. And so with those three pillars, we didn't really have a public search. It was a very closed and private search, but just got flooded with interest from across the country, from position coaches, unit coaches in the NFL, from coordinators and position coaches in Division I football, and then head coaches at the Division I level in intercollegiate athletics for Division I. And so really happy that we had such a great interest, and just believed that this job deserved and belonged to a sitting head coach.
So I know some people got a little nervous about how long it took. Mind you, it took, all of less than a week or something like that from the end of the season. Like, people kind of assumed that it would happen maybe a little quicker, but how confident were you in the timeline that you had, for how long it ended up taking you to find a new coach?
Very confident. It was a very disciplined process. I'm a process person. There were steps that I wanted to achieve. I knew I wanted it all narrowed down before signing day. We had a very specific timing for interviews. Went through a process of phone and Zoom, and then in-person interviews as well. So we did our due diligence, had a very small committee, and I'm really pleased with our results. My ultimate timeline was to make sure that we had someone in place by the transfer portal open on the 9th, and I'm glad that we could have an announcement today.
I guess, how just absolutely crucial was it to have, because it seems like that is the big deadline, just how crucial is it to have a head coach now before the transfer portal officially opens? I know some players have already announced their intentions to at least enter the portal, but just how important is it to have that coach in place so that you can be ready for the transfer portal?
Well, of course, consistency is winning, and stability adds to that winning. And we wanted to create a sense of belief again with our team, with a new head coach. And obviously, as the season concluded, the coaching carousel increased across the country. So that was another factor to be mindful of, because as more jobs open, less candidates emerge because they start to accept jobs, right? And so wanted to just be very strategic with our timeline, and very happy with our results.
When it came to the moment where I imagine the pressure and everything to have it, just to executing it and making the right hire, when was the moment that you kind of got a chance to smile? It was a deep breath, that sigh of relief, everything's done. Was it when he signed the contract, or when we saw the announcement this morning? When was this all wrapped up for you? Us on the outside here, the fans and everything, we've got to take some extra medication this week, and that's just because of our own wanting everything right now. But when was that moment, that aha moment for you with this hire with Coach Mendenhall?
I believe when you work with people, you are never done, and it is a daily process. And so for me, I don't know if it was last night or this morning, but when everything got signed and our agreement was locked up, I smiled driving home, definitely.
There you go. So I want to ask about just the money. I mentioned, this is this is the highest. It's definitely the highest the Utah State's ever paid a head coach. I think now the highest paid coach in the Mountain West. Just what was that process of being able to raise this money? And also, you had to pay $2 million to buy him out of the New Mexico contract. Just how were you able to raise that kind of money to invest this much into the program now?
Well, I'd like to thank President Cantwell and her belief in our athletics department. I'd like to thank our donors, investors, and our Aggies across the country who want us to be successful. Bronco Mendenhall has not only a proven record, but he believes in a challenge. And Utah State football right now is a challenge. And he will make a difference, and he'll ignite this community. So, much like for you guys, your compensation is a sign of appreciation and shows the value you bring to your organization. And we wanted Bronco to feel that as well.
I do wish the appreciation was $2 million. Though.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you what. You can negotiate my next deal with the Cache Valley Media if it gets $2 million.
So I wanted to ask one thing about, because obviously Bronco's record is stellar. What he did at BYU, and even a solid job with Virginia, getting to an Orange Bowl. But I guess the one concern that I'd kind of had, and I want to ask maybe what would have alleviated your concerns with this, is that Bronco hasn't had a winning season since 2019. Obviously, before then it was successful. What kind of alleviated the concerns that it's been a minute since he had one of those winning seasons that defined a lot of his earlier career?
Well, when you look at what he was able to achieve at BYU, what he's achieved at Virginia, and what he was building at New Mexico, it is a process, right, guys? It's not something that you just walk into a room and flip the switch.
Absolutely.
It takes a constant financial investment. You all know how the transfer portal and how NIL and the collectives work today. So you could have a player today and gone tomorrow. Yeah. That's proven at New Mexico with their quarterback and their offensive coach, right? Their OC, their coordinator. So I think this is a constantly changing environment. You have to have someone who's going to be nimble. And I am absolutely positive that Bronco will not only develop young men, have an impact, and have people have a valued-based culture, but we will win football games. And it's going to be hard, but I know that our community and our university is committed, and we're invested in football.
So obviously, every head coaching hire can have a long-lasting impact, but it feels like these latest rounds of coaching hires may have like an increased importance just because of the move to the Pac-12. Does that kind of add to the pressure where you've been hiring these coaches, where the ones you're hiring are likely the coaches who will lead their respective programs into the Pac-12?
Oh, without a doubt, the Pac-12 plays on every decision that I make as an athletics director. Truly, the Pac-12 is elevating our brand every single day. The competition, the television, the eyeballs, and the support that we will have for Aggie Nation will be also increased. And so you have to have strong leaders. You have to have good teachers. You have to have coaches that are going to find value in your community. And so, for Bronco to bring him back to the state of Utah, to bring him back home, what a great fit. What an alignment of his values. With Jared Calhoun, he wants somewhere where he can raise his family. And man, he has embraced this community. He loves this community. His wife, Sarah, loves the community. And you see his family at all of our games running around with their friends. And so that's truly important. And it's a fit. And we've got two really good fits right now. I don't want to forget Wesley Brooks either, our women's basketball coach, who is taking a program that has struggled for some bit of time at Utah State and working really hard in growing our competitive structure of that women's basketball program as well.
I appreciate you adding that little bit about Coach Calhoun. And yes, Coach Brooks is a stud. Coach Calhoun, we wonder, because a lot of coaches stop here and then move to the next. And somebody shared on Twitter that his family absolutely loves Cache Valley, and kind of leading him into my next question. I've only been here for 3 years. I want to give you props for bringing the Pac-12 to me here in Cache Valley, because I grew up in Oregon, so an Oregon Ducks guy, and I moved to Logan, and you bring the Pac-12. How is Cache Valley for you, living here, being here every day? What are your favorite things about being here, a part of the community, being the AD for the Utah State Aggies, and seeing the pride that's around town for our Aggies?
Oh, it's joyful every single day. Some days are harder than others, but the people here are magnanimous. It's beautiful. I want everyone to believe as much as I believe that Utah State will achieve, and we are going to. Our future is bright. We're really, really bright. And so I hope that everyone can continue to believe that, not guess or talk about when someone's going to leave, but how are we going to keep them? How are you going to grow your investment so we can make sure we keep really good teachers, we keep really good coaches, we keep Jared Calhoun and his family here, instead of talking about him leaving. I've had people ask me, what are you going to do to keep Jared Calhoun? He's going to leave after one season. Why do we talk like that in Cache Valley? We need to talk how we can keep him here, because these are special people. There's a method to this madness, guys. It's not just waking up one day and saying, like, oh, how about I hire this person? There's a lot of research. There's a ton of calls. There's a lot of relationships that you lean into because I want the right person here for this community, because it means so much to be a part of Utah State and to be an Aggie.
I'm willing to chain myself to vehicles to keep coaches in town. Just letting you know, I really appreciate the coaches that we have. The more I get to learn about Coach Brooks and Coach Calhoun, I just absolutely love how they shape young men and how they're growing the program for the ladies and the men. And I know, Coach Brooks, it'll be a long haul, but I believe in a couple of years we're going to be looking back as this being a foundational moment for the Aggies women's basketball team. We all know what Coach Calhoun's doing, and tomorrow night, Utah Tech, we're going to keep the undefeated streak up. And Bronco Mendenhall, the new coach of the Utah State Aggies. Man, I got a big permagrin on my face.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I should ask Diana, are you going to introduce Bronco at the basketball game tomorrow?
You know what? I wish we could do that tomorrow. We're going to look at a different game. He can't. He has a lot that he's trying to close up.
Oh, I imagine. Yeah.
And finish out. So we want to microdose any kind of pressure, in the beginning. So we will have him at a basketball game. It'll probably be one closer to the holidays, or maybe even a Mountain West big contest. So everyone can get excited for that. And I would be negligent if I didn't tell you guys that Manny Martin, who has brought great success to our women's soccer program, he had 2 offers to go to 2 Power 4 schools after the season this year. And he and his family love Logan and love being a part of Utah State, and we were able to retain him after those 2 really great offers. So people want to be a part of what we're building. They want to live here in Logan, and that makes me really, really excited, and I hope it makes a lot of people really excited. So keep believing. Watch us reach and rise.
Definitely. We're running a little thin on the time that we have for you. Wanted to ask about the assistant coach pool, because that's obviously been a big, there's a rise in the amount of money. Like, how crucial was that in kind of the negotiating process or just that being part of the investment? Like, how big was it to have that increase there to give Bronco obviously a lot of really good help with his assistant coaches?
Yeah, that truly was not part of the negotiation process, because before I started the hiring process, I went to President Cantwell and we had the discussion of how important it is to invest in consistency. Consistency is winning year over year, and those are your assistant coaches. If you have assistant coaches who don't feel appreciated or compensated, they're going to be chasing a paycheck and they're going to look to leave every year. That's not great to a position or to a locker room. So President Cantwell is all in, and I thank her every day for that. And so we came to a dollar figure that we'd have to fundraise a little bit for, and here's where we're at. And it's also important that we provide an increase each year, because if we don't, then we're flat, we're maxed out, and then people will leave anyways.
All right, I got one more question for you. There's a texter. I don't know if you can really answer this, but one of the texters wanted me to ask if Bronco, because they're wondering if they were going to move they swapped the benches, like the visiting team is in front of the student section, then Utah State's in front of the season ticket holders. They're wondering if you or Bronco are gonna switch that and bring the Aggies back to the student section side.
Oh gosh, you guys, that's a lot of questions in one segment here. We haven't gotten that deep into the weeds. I don't know if we will. Our most important priorities right now is maintaining our locker room and getting a full coaching complement. So we'll get to what side of the field we're going to be on at a later date. Stay tuned.
It's on the priority list, just not right there.
A little further down.
We're a little fanatic when it comes to our Aggies there. So, we get out there.
So thanks to Herd, and we're so appreciative for that. So thank you, guys.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show with us again. Diana Sabau, Director of Athletics at Utah State University. Thank you so much for taking a bit of your time today with us and joining the show.
Hey, have a great weekend. We'll see everyone at basketball tomorrow. Go Aggies.
All right, we'll see you then. And that's Diana Sabau, Director of Athletics. And we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be back after this here on the Full Court Press.